Well, good morning and good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Mathieu Lamol. I'm the founder of Water for Everyone. That's an NGO dedicated to improving access to safe, drinkable water for everyone, everywhere. And I'm very happy to welcome you to this webinar on the occasion of World Water Day 2023. Access to safe drinking water remains a critical challenge in many parts of the world, with over 2.2 billion people lacking access to safely managed drinking water services, according to the last report from World Health Organization and the UNICEF. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic has further highlighted the importance of clean water services, and especially clean water for hygiene and sanitation, as hand washing is one of the most effective ways to prevent the spread of this COVID-19 virus. Now, in Ghana, where Water for Everyone has partnered with Easy Water for Everyone, the situation is no different. The lack of access to safe drinking water is a major challenge for many communities, particularly in rural areas. However, we are very proud to say that our collaboration between the different teams has been very successful in making a positive impact in the lives of many Ghanaians. Now, during this webinar, we will be sharing some history, status update of the work we've been doing, and also the results of the new projects that we have implemented here in Ghana. We will be showcasing the progress we have made, some challenges we have faced, but also the lessons that we have learned. Through the projects that we've been working together, we've been able to provide access to safe drinking water to many communities in Ghana, improving definitely their health and quality of life. Our success has been possible through the hard work and dedication of our teams in Ghana, and also the support of our partners and our donors. And this year, we'd like to give a special thanks to the 1% Fund for Development that is helping us in shaping new projects. Today, as we celebrate the World Water Day, or actually we do it 2 days before, but this is right about the time of the year, let us remember that access to safe drinking water is a basic human right, and that we all have a role to play in ensuring that everyone has access to it. So we hope that this webinar will provide valuable insights and inspire further action towards achieving this important goal. I thank you all for joining us today. I thank the speakers, the partners on the ground, and I hope that everyone enjoys this webinar. Now, I'd like to give the floor to our partners from Easy Water for Everyone, Nathan and Linda. Thank you so much for the collaborations. It's been a pleasure working with you since several years now, and to have this yet another World Water Day together. So thank you so much. And I'll give you the floor, Linda, for some remarks as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Yes, we're very excited to really continue with our webinars with Matthew and the Water for Everyone team. It has been a truly successful partnership. And we started with 2 schools and a clinic. And now, as you'll hear today, due to funding from the 1% Foundation, we are able to expand in that very area to 3 more schools with a total of 5 planned. So it has been a very successful partnership. Nathan, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you very much, Linda. The most rewarding part of this project is the actual marked reduction in the incidence of life-threatening diarrhea, particularly in small children. This is life-changing for them and their families, and it is our joint intention to expand on what has been done already.
So let's begin the program.
Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you, Nathan. The program for today will be a succession of a few presentations from the key partners in Ghana that will be presenting the history and the next steps of our project collaborations. I just want to remind that this webinar is being recorded, as we know that not everyone has an easy access to internet in addition to access to the water. And so we'll make sure that this recording gets into as many hands as possible to get the word disseminated about the good work that is being done on the ground. So starting with Albert Armu, who is our Water for Everyone focal point and director in Ghana. Albert, I will give you the floor and share the slides. Thank you for being with us. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mathieu. And good morning, good afternoon, to everyone who is joining us. And then thank you to our great team and partners, Easy Water for Everyone. Yeah, so this morning and afternoon, we are here as Matthew and Linda have given us the background. My name is Albert Amu. At Water for Everyone, we always say that every step counts, and so does every drop counts. Now, one of my favorite quotes is that you will never know the value of a drop until you carry your own water. And this has been my greatest motivation throughout my period with Water for Everyone and Easy Water for Everyone. So I'll go through my presentation looking at the global challenge generally. And then, of course, the phase one, we'll have a look at the phase one. We'll look at our intervention, and then the local ownership of the project. And then we'll move on to see our new beneficiaries and what we are doing there. Next. The global challenge. It is instructive to note that 771 million people lack access to clean water globally. And this means that for every 10 people you meet, one of them lack access to clean water. Women and girls spend estimated 200 million hours carrying water every day. On the average, in the rural African setting, women walk on the average 6 kilometers every day to haul about 40 pounds of water. More frightening is that over 800 children under 5 die every day from diarrhea caused by contaminated water, poor sanitation, and unsafe hygiene practices. This is also made more frightening by the fact that 1.6 billion people live without access to adequate sanitation. And then comes the worst. 494 million people practice open defecation. These statistics bring us to the Sustainable Development Goal 6, which aims to provide universal access to clean water and sanitation by 2030. Certainly, this is a challenging task and requires commitment, not alone commitment, but also collaboration. It is said that if you want to change the world, you have to find somebody to paddle with you. And so we cannot do it all, and therefore resulted in us collaborating with Easy Water for Everyone. And so together with Easy Water for Everyone, we coming together to work towards achieving the SDG 6. And as you can see, the founder, Matthew Lamoe, together with Nathan and Linda, over the years, we have worked tremendously well, collaborating to bring relief and impact to the lives of communities in Ghana. And so together, we are working towards achieving the SDGs. Now, the phase one of our project, we had to focus, of course, in Ghana, we focused on the Bosom Trade District of the Ashanti region. And we tagged it the safe water for school and hospitals. And so we focused on Abono RC Primary School, Nyamieni Methodist, Puano Methodist Primary School, and then Nyamieni Clinic. Among these, we were able to impact the lives of over 963 pupils, 62 teachers, and of course, the bigger community as well. But how did we do it? We first ascertained the need for clean access to clean water. These communities already had some sources of water, yet the quality of the water was the challenge. And so we introduced them to pure clean water, which were standard based or approved by Ghana Standards Authority. After which our project was embraced by the community, which was a key feature in all that we wanted to do. And so after they have accepted the project, then we sent in our intervention. Next slide, please. So what was our intervention in the first place? We sent in, assessed their boreholes, their source of water, which was fundamentally boreholes. We picked samples, tested them, and then ascertained that they required or needed our intervention. Now, this is what we did. For each one of the beneficiaries, we introduced a stand with a tank on it, and then we pumped the water from the boreholes into the tank, and then through the tank then came the unique device from Easy Water for Everyone. And once the water have gone through the device, the end product was as clean quality as we envisaged. And I'm happy to say that my colleague from Easy Water for Everyone, Harrison Mati, will dive into how the device works later after my presentation. And we are so happy to also notice that our communities that we went in, the teachers, the traditional leaders, and then the district assembly embraced us, gave us all the support that we needed, and therefore we were able to successfully deliver to these three installations in the past. And so we move on. So after such a successful implementation of the first phase, then we were able to get support from the 1% fund, fortunately through our mutual efforts. And we'll quickly look at the new key stakeholders engagement. We'll look at the pre-installation data collection, which Joseph will be talking about that the more. And then how our stands metal stands are composed, the transportation, and then of course, the planting. Next slide, please. So which communities or who are our new beneficiaries? We have 3 schools, which we are sending 5 installations. So Asisiwa Methodist Primary will receive 2 setups. The Diako Primary School will receive 2 setups. And then Kokodea Methodist Primary will receive 1 setup. In total, we are looking to influence or impact 1,107 pupils. And of course, a community of about 13,100 community members. And we have done this, or we have gone through this by dealing with the key stakeholders, the chiefs and the people, the students, the district assembly as such. And so if you are out there and these communities look, they don't sound familiar to you, my next slide will inform you the best. So if you look at my slide, assuming you know we are in Ghana, so we are speaking from Kumasi, then you need to have a good look at these communities where they are found in the world. And I'm happy to share this Google Map slide with you for reference purposes and for future, of course, references. Next slide, please. Now, having engaged the communities and its key stakeholders, we needed to build one of the key components of our installation, which is the metal stand. It is important to state that the metal stand, because it is going to be in a school where the kids will play with it and all that, we needed to get a professional to design and build a safely or with safety in mind, so that once these installations are done, it will not culminate in accidents or injury to the kids. And so, as we can see, we've done a wonderful job from the metal engineer side. Next slide, please. And of course, for the purposes of safety as well, we need to carry all of them to the site and then go with these fabricators, so that in the process, if there was any hitches or breakages along the transportation channel, then they will mend it whilst we got there. Next slide. And then comes the most important aspect of the installation, which is the planting of the stands. You need, because the landscape is undulating, you need to pick the levels very well and make sure they are situated such that it will not shake or fall down from its stand. And so, as we can see, levels have been picked, groundwork, good foundation has been laid, and this will stand in for a minimum of 2 weeks to ensure that the concrete cures very well before we go on to, as it were, put any tank or any material on it. Next slide, please. So, having gone this far, we are left with a few works to do, which is to proceed to install the devices at Asisiwa, and then we'll continue works at the Diako and then Kokode. It is interesting to note that due to our good rapport and good community engagement, the chief of the Diako has decided to give the school, the Diako DA school, a new borehole. He has decided to sink a new borehole in the school itself to serve only the students and the school. And of course, it is gratifying to know that the little effort that we are making is also appreciated by the beneficiaries themselves, and that is a Christmas gift anyone can get. And so after we have finished these installations, then we'll go ahead and hand them over to the communities. Then comes again my initial point. At Water for Everyone, we say that every step counts, so that's every drop. So for all the steps that we have taken before, every one that is left is very important or equally important as before. And so we will, I will leave this point to my colleague from Easy Water for Everyone to take us into how the device actually works and how it is solving the problem of lack of access to clean water. Thank you very much for your attention and enjoy the afternoon.
Thank you so much, Albert. You are so right in saying that every step counts, every drop counts. And what a beautiful journey we have all collectively done together in terms of, developing the sites, installing the devices, seeing already the beautiful smiles on the beneficiaries that have been able to actually benefit from the first free installations. And now that we have the new projects coming on together, this is really beautiful. So thank you for driving us through this journey of every step counts. Now I'd like to focus on every drop counts and maybe ask our colleague Harrison from Easy Water to give us a little bit of an insight on the magic of this water filtration device. I mean, what is in there? How does that work? How does it really make a change locally? So Harrison, I will be also sharing your slides. Just let me know when I should go next. The floor is yours. Let me just share the slides in the next second, but already feel free to introduce yourself and I will be sharing the slides in just 1 second.
All right. Thank you, Matthew, and thank you, Albert. Good morning and good afternoon to you all. Thank you for taking time off your busy schedules to join us this Monday to celebrate World Water Day 2023. All right, Matthew.
Yeah, I just needed the 1 second, and now here you have your slides, Harrison. Go ahead, thank you.
All right, so we can go to the next slide. So my name is Harrison Mati. I lead the Easy Water team in Ghana, Senegal, and Uganda. Next slide, Matthew.
Do you see it full screen or do you see it not full screen?
See a full screen.
Okay, very good.
So as mentioned by Albert, what we do is our technology runs on gravity. And for those of you who are from Ghana, I'm sure you are familiar with what you see in here. So our structure has an overhead tank, which contains the contaminated water. Then it has 2 pre-filters, which the water goes through before it goes through our ACE dialyzer device. The device is made up of 8 hemodialyzers, which have been repurposed. Then you have the spigot. So once we are able to pump the source water, whether underground borehole or surface water, into the overhead tank, gravity runs it through the 8 filters. It comes out clean and safe for drinking. Next, it takes about 4 hours to complete the setup. So once the metal structure has been mounted as shown by Albert, once our team goes into the field, we require a maximum of 4 hours to complete the plumbing works and the setup of the device. Now our device has a pore size of 0.03 micron, which makes it possible for it to get rid of pathogens, parasites, bacteria, and viruses. We run this device in partnership with CSIR, who does our pre-installation water sample analysis. So we collect a sample before we do the installation. Then post-installation, when we are done with installing the device, CSIR will do another sample testing for us to be sure that the water quality meets the Ghanaian standard before we hand over the device to the community. Now, to run the device, it requires that you do backwashing. So the device runs on backwashing. You do backwashing 3 times every day to get rid of whatever bacteria pathogen the device might have taken from the source water in the process of filtration. Next slide, Matthew. Now, as I mentioned, so the device runs on 8 of these filters, which you see in the picture, and we call ourselves the organizations that work in the last mile communities where it is very hard to reach. So if you see our background, the pictures you see at our background are typical of the communities that we go into. You see some of the communities that were shown by Albert also. We work in areas that are very hard to reach. So it's easy to carry this device into. We work with populations between 50 to 1,000 plus. And the device produces between 250 to 500 liters of water per hour without running on electricity. And when we say without running on electricity, it means that the device itself does not require power to function. Next slide, Matthew. All right. So this is how the device works. Once from my extreme right, once the source water goes into the overhead tank, we either use gasoline or solar pump to pump the water into the overhead tanks. In the Abono Yamieni area, what we've done so far is to use electric pumps because these are areas that have access to electricity, but then still have contaminated water sources. So the pump gets the water into the overhead tank. The water goes through the 8 repurposed dialyzers. What we don't do is to do desalination. So the only thing that goes through the filters is water. The viruses, bacteria, pathogens, everything is getting rid of by the filters. Once you open your spigot or you open your tap, as we call it in Ghana, you have your clean drinking water for you. Next slide, Matthew. As I mentioned, so in Senegal, we run on solar. We are currently piloting solar in one of our communities to see the possibility of moving to solar in the areas where we have surface water, river, stream. We use the surface pump or the gasoline pump to pump water into the overhead tanks. Next slide, Matthew. All right. So Albert mentioned the community engagement process, which is key to everything that we do. We set up a water and sanitation management committee in each of the communities that we operate in. We meet the community, they identify where they want the device to be mounted, where the gravity water station should be mounted. They form a committee, identify people who should be in charge of taking care of the devices. These people are then trained by our team to manage the device once we are done with the installation. So these are pictures of us in the field, engaging communities prior to our installation process. Next slide, Matthew. So the installation process in some of the community, you see us on boats, bringing the device to the river bank, community members helping to get a poly tank onto the structure, and then the sample collection once the water is running. And the last picture you see in the top right corner is a clear comparison of water that is coming out from the device and water from the community. Next slide, Matthew. All right, so this is to give you a fair idea of what it costs us to produce water per community member in a year. The device will cost you about $1,300, cost you $1,300, and then shipping will cost you $480, depending on where you are. The masonry metal structure will give you $550, and then the details are there. For a community of about 500 people, it will cost us 0.0099 cents to produce water for per person in this community in a year. So you see how small it is to the amount required to support these communities. In the long term, it's not that much, but then we rely on people's donation and grants like the 1% Foundation to help us in meeting the need of these communities. Last slide, Matthew. All right, so this is a video of one of the communities we operate, and this is Abono, one of the schools. So much you can play the video. So this is how the setup works. The water at this community had iron issues. We introduced an iron removing device. Fortunately, another partner came in to work with us, drilled a new borehole, which we connected to the device. This serves the school, and sometimes community members also come to fetch water from the school while the school is in session. This serves the Abono primary school, basic school in the Lake Busumche area. That's myself and my team members, my colleagues on the field, seeing how the devices are functioning in the community. Once you can move to the last slide.
It looks like it is going back to the video, so I will be.
All right. In fact, so this is my last slide, and I'll say a big thank you for your attention. If you had any questions, please note them down. I'll be more than happy, and my team members will be more than happy to respond to your questions when it's time for Q&A. Thank you very much for your time. I'll hand over to my colleague, Dr. Joseph Malfoy, to continue. Matthew, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Harrison, and thanks for unveiling some of the magic of this fantastic device, which I think if not everyone would understand exactly how the filtering works, what we can grasp at hand in a very easy way is how efficient it is and how drastically low are the costs for actually providing safe water that is definitely safe and cleaned up from all these pathogens, viruses, bacteria, and organic residues. So this is a fantastic presentation. Thank you so much, Harrison, for doing this and for presenting it, introducing it to us. I again encourage everyone on the call, if you have questions, there is the chat box. Just go ahead and raise your questions. We have, of course, Q&As in the end, but if you have something here that you would like to remember or to ask Harrison, Albert, or anyone else, please feel free to write it in the chat box. I'd like now to also turn to our third speaker, Joseph, to help us understand a little bit how does it go in practice. I mean, we have an approach, a methodology, we have a device, we have beneficiaries and school teachers and the school children that are lovely and smiling all around, but how does it really work in practice? How do we train the community to really make the best use possible of devices to ensure that they have this feeling of ownership, that they actually maintain it, work with it, and then how do we interpret the situation after running the device in a location for so many months? We have had a number of lessons learned of the impacts that these devices and the use of the devices have had in the local community. So I will be also happy to share your slides, just giving you a second to change my screen, but feel free to already take the floor, introduce yourself, and thanks for being with us. Joseph, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you on some few things. So, as Matthew said, my name is Joseph Malfoy. I'm the Research and Data Director for Easy Water for Everyone. So this afternoon, I'll be talking about our data collection and management processes, how we do our data collection, as well as how you manage our data so that you can impart on whatever you want to achieve as an organization. So as an organization, we are motivated by the fact that we are contributing to preventing diarrhea through provision of clean water. We are further motivated to conduct research in every community we intend to install our device so that we can evaluate the effect of our intervention on diarrhea prevention in those communities that we serve. So this morning, my presentation will focus on the background, as I've already spoken about. We will talk about training of data collectors. One, this is a data collection process and management staff. But how many data collectors will be needed? So I will talk more on how we train our data collectors, select our data collectors, and I also speak on how we manage our data with a system called RedCap. I also talk about how we do our data collection using an electronic data collection tool, which is called RedCap mobile app. And I also focus on some of the questions that we ask our people so that we can effectively measure the impact of our intervention on the people. And then lastly, I also speak on how data are analyzed with what you called R Studio. Next. So as I said initially, there was an operating procedure. Before any device is installed in a community, we do 2 levels of analysis. We do what you call the baseline or the pre-data collection. Once the device is installed in the community, we do what you call the post-device data collection, the follow-up data collection on the incidence of self-reported diarrhea at the household level. So if our target population happens to be the school case, then we do data collection at the school level. So basically what we do is a baseline data collection covers at least a period of 3 months so that we can get a first-hand information on the incidence of diarrhea before the installation of our device. The name of our device is NAF 500 filtration device. So henceforth, I'll be using the term. So while the device is installed, we go back to do what you call the full app or post data collection that will last for 12 months. This longer period is to provide us enough evidence of long-term sustainability of the efficacy of the filtration device. We just wanted to find out if the device is installed for a longer period, will it still serve the purpose that we expect it to serve? Will it still serve the purpose of eliminating these bacteria and other pathogenic organisms from the water, so that at the end of the day, we can get a very clean and pure water for our people to drink, so that they'll be free from diarrhea and other related diseases. Next. So as I said initially, we train our data collectors. So if you are dealing with the community, we go there and pick data collectors or people who can read and understand the content of the questionnaire. But if you are dealing with school population, we normally rely on the teachers to serve as our data collectors. We train them for a day. Our training covers topics like principles of research ethics, so that data collectors will know the do's and don'ts in data collection process. We also take them through data collection techniques. And then you also expose them to how to use the electronic data collection system tool, which is called the RedCap mobile app. Next. So with regards to, as I said initially, we manage our data with a system called Research Electronic Data Capture. In short, you call it RedCap. So this one is a secure web application for building and managing online surveys as well as offline databases. It can be used to collect virtually any type of data in any environment. Yeah, so if you look at the right side of the screen, you can see the interface of the RedCap system. Next. So once we are sure of what we are going to use to manage our data, the next thing is the RedCap mobile app, which this one serves as our data collection tool. We are not using the paper questionnaire. We are using the electronic means. So we use what you call RedCap mobile app. This is a tool for data collectors needing to capture data offline. Yes, it can capture data offline. So data can be collected on a RedCap mobile app, and this one is compatible with any iPhone, iPad, Android phone, or tablet. Next. So when it comes to the data questionnaire, our questions are focused mainly on the demography of the school case or the household heads and their members. You also ask questions on diarrhea situation in their treatment. As I said initially, our focus now is on diarrhea diseases. So we have to ask questions on self-reported diarrhea at the household level. We also ask questions on sanitation practices. And you also ask questions on socio-economic characteristics of the responder or the household heads. This one, we want to find out the opportunity cost of missing work or missing school due to water-related illnesses. And lastly, we also ask questions on types of drinking water sources. Next slide. Finally, when the data is ready, we do what you call data wrangling. Data wrangling basically means cleaning the data and recoding the data so that it will be ready for the analysis. So once that one is done in the RedCap, we need to convert or transport the data into our RStudio, that's the analytical software that can be used for the analysis. Over here, there are two approaches that you use. We can use what you call application program interface, in short, we call it API. Here, with just a simple code in the RStudio, data can automatically be extracted from the RedCap system onto the RStudio for the analysis to be conducted. Or we do manual downloading of the data from the RedCap and then subsequently transport it to the RStudio for the analysis. There are two levels of analysis that are done. One, we do what you call the descriptive analysis over here just to determine the trend and the distribution of the diarrhea diseases. Secondly, we develop what we call device efficacy model to predict the reduction rate of diarrhea after the installation of the device, which is very, very important. Yes. And the final slide, that one is thanks for your attention.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Joseph. And indeed, the whole point is thanks to all these technological applications and statistics, visuals, we can ensure that there is some kind of a real impact on the ground. I think the SOPs and the processes are extremely robust to establish this baseline where we are starting from, and then build on for at least 12 months of research to analyze if indeed the incident cases are being reduced. I think this is really a nice way of framing the journey that Albert started on looking at the shaping of the project, and Harrison opening up the magical device setup and explaining it to us. We will have some interactions and questions. So I'm again inviting anyone who would have a question to post it into the chat. But maybe first I'd like to give the floor to Nathan and to Linda again, just to share some of your views from Easy Water for Everyone. I mean, it's a beautiful project that, as you see, from years to years, is shaping up with beautiful beneficiaries and lessons being learned. There has been a fantastic award. So I know you've been very modest and humble and not so sure you wanted to show it. I will still show the picture of your award. I want to congratulate you for this and maybe give you the floor as well for a few minutes so that you can share also your lessons, having worked with all of us, all the teams in Ghana, and also from here on shaping up these projects. So congratulations again for the fantastic work that you're doing and leading on your side, and for the award. And just the floor is yours. Let me also just share the picture to congratulate you again for the fantastic award.
Thank you, Matthew. Nathan, when you want to speak, you have to take it off of mute. But while you're looking for that, I'll say a few words. For us, since 2015, when we started the project, and then I think in around 2017, we joined with Matthew and the group, we have benefited on many fronts. The success of the project. There we are just in Dubai in January. Our project, this device, the approach, received an award from the UAE as a small, innovative project. So we were second place out of third. So as you can see, we were very happy. But back to the journey that we've been on, as Matthew and Albert have said, the prominent thing that sticks out in my mind is the reduction of diarrhea. In our first paper published in 2020, we showed a 72% reduction in diarrhea in the population of the village. We are just ready to republish those original villages to show how over 4 and 5 years the effect of the device has been. And to say we're thrilled with the statistics is an understatement. So that will be coming out in the future. But when you go back to these villages year after year and see the difference in the children and even the adults and their health and their vigor, it's just a form of bliss that you cannot get anywhere else. And the other thing that I will say is to watch the staff in Ghana grow over the years to present this type of webinar that we just had with the details of everything. It's just fabulous to see the whole development of the team and their capabilities now really of just carrying on completely separate and apart from us. So Nathan, did you manage to get off mute? Would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you. It's very gratifying, obviously, to be associated with a project in which you're able to do really good things, and particularly when it comes to the lives of children. And I think we've been very fortunate. We've been fortunate to have colleagues in all our environments, I have to say, and particularly in Africa itself, who have worked with us so closely and who have gone to the furthest point in making it possible for the technology to be assembled, to be produced, and for the populations to be educated as to how to use the technology. And obviously once a community sees that their children are now no longer dying of diarrhea, there's there's not much more to say. And personally, of quite a long professional life, there have been very few things that have been less rewarding spiritually, I suppose, in a way, than this association with what we've been doing in Africa and Ghana in particular now. So I think that's all I need to say, except the last is I'm very grateful that I've been able to participate in this wonderful effort.
Thank you so much, Nathan. Thank you, Linda. It's a fantastic testimonial. It's also fantastic for me personally to be associated with the project and all the efforts that our fantastic team, again, I'm not saying it enough, in the country is doing. So thank you all for doing this. Maybe one point that as we go from one webinar to another, those are a few recurrent questions, which is about fundraising and how do we really actually sustain the work and the projects on the ground. I mean, you've seen that most of us do have this little donate button next to us. And this is basically just just a recognition that indeed this work can only work with support from our gracious donors and supporters. But again, as Harrison and Joseph presented, and I'm thinking especially here in Harrison's slides, I mean, there was this question about the actual cost of actually putting water into a safe and drinkable situation for children, which is ridiculous compared to the initial investment of just a few $100s or a few thousands when it comes to a full village. So we do have this extra slide here that just wants to present how does this really translate from a donation perspective. And it's we all know everyone is a little bit stressed. There is a crisis. There is one crisis after the other, actually, to be honest. But still, a very little drop of generosity can change the world for actually many people and children in particular. So just a few numbers to be extremely transparent. You've seen that in the previous slides that a device is about $1,400. You add up a pump, a water tank, a device, the installation with the metal tower, and a few things to make sure that the site works well. Well, actually, with just an investment of about $4,000, an entire village can be actually sponsored with the device being installed and actually running for a long period of time that sustains with maintenance and operational cost. The tower structure is very minimum. It's about 1,000. The parts, the filters, about 500. The water tank is about $200. Every dollar counts. I mean, we started with Albert about every step counts, every drop of water, every dollar actually can translate into a change and an impact. So that's to say that, again, this webinar is being recorded. It's also a big thank you to our donors, sponsors, and supporters. Every contribution is highly welcome. We do have a few more minutes, of course, available for discussion and interaction. So I would like to maybe also turn back to our teams, Albert, Harrison, Joseph, but also Seth. If you'd like to say a few words and share also your own lessons learned. I mean, you've seen the progresses. If there would be one call for donors and supporters who are watching us either live today or tomorrow from their couch when they play the recording, what is your call to our partners and potential supporters? Maybe starting with you, Albert. If you just unmute, yes.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew. Yeah, it's been wonderful seeing the small effort we started together as a seed, having grown to a complete tree, as we can say. I think I will take the opportunity to appeal to all our listeners and viewers, those on the call, and of course for future the people who connect or view it later, that yes, we are in our small way doing a greater impact. And so join us, easy water for everyone, with a little that you can give, so we are able to expand and impact more lives, even as we look at advancing our cause. So I also say a big thank you to our team in Ghana and across the world. You, Nathan, Linda, Seth, everyone, Safia, everyone, that we're looking forward to greater impacts. And I believe next year we will be able to have something also greater to show. So thank you all for your time and afternoon and everything we've given for this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Albert. Harrison, I'd like to give you the floor. And as you focused a lot on your presentation on the device itself, maybe one point also back to clarification about what does the device help? Purifying, you mentioned very clearly the pathogens, the viruses, the organic matter and the bacteria. Just to say again, you mentioned this example about the iron removal. So maybe explaining a little bit again how the device could be then combined with an additional iron removal in the case that the water would be contaminated with this. And then also, I mean, what you see for the future going on. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Matthew. And thank you again, everyone. So the devices, I mean, water treatment itself is in such a way that there's no one solution that fits every situation. So there are different technologies that come together to make water clean and safe for drinking. What we have done in the past is where we meet situations where our technology does not solve a particular problem, we go in and then get other technology to help in making sure that the water that we provide to the communities that we serve is clean and safe for drinking. So in the case of the Abono area, we had to purchase an iron removing device, which we got from the UK, I think. And there's also a community called Osunodompe around the Accra area, where we got a CSIR to construct an iron removing structure where they use sand filtration and all that to get rid of iron from the water. So we are an organization, I mean, that thrives on partnership. We believe that whilst we serve the last mile, the communities that are not, in quotes, that are not economically viable to the organizations that are looking for it, to selling water, we are running more of a social enterprise where communities pay a token for the water that they fetch from our devices to make sure that these water stations are sustainable. So that over the years, because there are issues of changing filters in a case where you're using gasoline, you need to buy gasoline to get a pump running. Even if it's solar, you need to do a bit of maintenance. So this is how we run. And I mean, for everybody on this platform, if you know any water organization that is looking for a partnership, that is working in large areas, we are not looking for too much to do. For populations between 50 to 1,000 and above, we are more than willing to come together to work in these communities. So even if you can't donate today, just tell someone that this is what we do, and there's a kind of partnership that we are looking for. Thank you all once again. Today is a Monday. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. We appreciate your time very well. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Harrison. And maybe Joseph, you'd like to build on this and explain a little bit also from your perspective. But thank you. And Harrison, you're totally right. This is Monday. Thank you for everyone who's taken the time and for all the others that will be watching the webinar at a further stage.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, everybody, for having time to join us this afternoon. I am much thrilled or fascinated about the level of evolution that has taken place in our research regime. Looking at how we started building databases with Microsoft Access and using a whole paper questionnaires. If you come to my office, if we see a whole bunch of books pile up in my office, when we were using the paper questionnaires to the point that we evolved to the RECAP system where things can be done automatically. with the use of RECAP mobile app, where we don't spend money on data collection and questionnaires and other stuff. And I think Easy Water has really come far, and we are making progress. Coming, we have about 3 or 4 publications done in most of these reputable journals worldwide. We've participated in a whole lot of conferences, both in Africa, Europe, and America. I think Easy Water is really going well. Currently, we have even extended our research into other pathogenic organisms, including viruses, protozoa, and fungi. Our preliminary analysis is very encouraging, which in future, if we should get partners, we get collaborators to just come on board so that we can expand our research component to our project. I think it will be welcome so that you can see more of what the filter can do. I think it's very, very amazing if you look at the way it is eliminating these pathogenic organisms from water sources. Very, very amazing. Very, very amazing. Currently, we are also having a whole lot of requests from students wanting to do PhD masters with us coming on board, collaborating there to do masters. And I think it's amazing project. So I would take this opportunity to appeal to everyone out there, partners, corporate organizations, to come on board so that we can move forward with this project. So that where everybody, every project, every organization doesn't want to go, Easy Water can go. If you see us be on the Lake Victoria, spend about 2 or 3 hours on Lake Victoria to the other side of the river in Uganda, you could see how poised Easy Water is in preventing diarrhea. This is a true provision of clean water. We need your support, guys. We need your support. Come on board to assist us so that we can move the project forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the kind words, Joseph, and for your call. This is made extremely clear. Seth, I see you have unmuted your microphone, so please take the floor. Share with us your thoughts as well. Thank you.
Thank you for giving the opportunity to really share. And then let me also thank all the participants, those who have joined us this morning, which part of the world you are. We are so grateful that you took the time to really, come and listen to our webinar. Our progress, has been nothing but rewarding. Despite the challenges that we have had, we started in May of 2015, and little by little, we had our challenges, we had our faults and everything, but then we have worked collaboratively very, very well, with the team in Ghana and with our friends, Water for Everyone. So we are really grateful. We just want to thank each and everyone. Our success is not the number of years that we have been on the market, but the impact that we have been able to make. I believe somebody mentioned that we have been able to, reduce diarrhea rate in school-going children by 72% in a particular village. And that shows extremely, the impact that we are having on the communities. So it's very, very essential that we continue with the work. Without a doubt, currently we have over 35, installations, mostly in Ghana. We have 4 in Senegal, and then we have 2 in Uganda. And then we are expanding because every now and then we get requests from other places, so that we will be able to really bring our technology there. So we are grateful, and then we are really very happy for the recent award that we actually had from the UAE. And we want to appeal to everyone to really donate. Just like you said earlier on, Matthew, every dollar counts. So no amount is small. We are truly privileged to really be in this kind of business. We thank you all for joining today. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you very much, Seth. I believe that we are getting close to the end of today's session. I want to thank very much the participants, but also all the presenters and the quality of the presentation that was made. Everyone's attendance contributions have been made very much successful for this event. I think collectively we can say we've gained some valuable insights on how the devices work, how the projects are being organized, what are the lessons and the experiences that will help us also work towards ensuring even more access to clean and drinkable water for all in the future and the future projects. I think that the importance of access to clean water can really not be overstated. I mean, it is essential for maintaining good health and sanitation, economic development. So water is at the core of multiple other developmental challenges. And we need to work together, back to what Albert was saying, on the partnership. We need to work together to ensure really that the communities around the world have access to this basic human right, and that this is really coming to contribute to good health. So again, we appreciate all your support. We invite those who wish to continue to support us in our efforts to of course, donate to the cause. The donations will definitely help to implement water projects that will provide the safe and reliable access to clean water. And then just once again, I'd like to thank you all for your participation, the presenters for the great presentations today. Together, we can make a big difference, and we can ensure that every person has access to clean and drinkable water. So a big thanks, everyone. Big thanks to the teams. And this recording will be shared through our networks. Please feel free to disseminate it as well further once you receive it, so that the word of mouth is actually working about the good work that is taking here. So thank you, everyone. I'm just going to close the recording and we keep in touch. Thanks again, everyone. All the best.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you. And have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.